The massive viewing screen in the Galactic Council chamber showed a small fleet of ships, barely visible against the backdrop of space. The dozen vessels looked like tiny silver fish swimming in a vast black ocean. Admiral Blackspine of the Centurion Empire couldn't help but laugh, his scaled skin rippling with amusement. "These are the new spacefaring species military vessels," he asked, pointing at the screen with one of his four arms. "They look like escape pods compared to our mighty dreadnoughts." The council members, representing the 20 most powerful species in the galaxy, shared his amusement. Their laughter echoed through the grand chamber, bouncing off the crystalline walls. Only the council president, an ancient being made of pure energy, remained silent. Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Jack Reed stood at the window of his office in the Earth Defense Force headquarters. He watched his small fleet of ships conducting training exercises above the blue planet. The sunlight gleamed off their polished hulls, making them shine like stars. "Sir," his computer terminal beeped. "The alien delegation's message has arrived." Reed turned away from the window and pressed a button on his desk. The message appeared on his screen, and his expression hardened as he read it. The Galactic Council had reviewed Earth's application for membership. Their response was not what he had hoped for. "They think we're weak," he muttered, running a hand through his gray hair. "Because our ships are small." Reed knew better. Humanity had taken a different path in space technology. While other species built massive ships to show their power, humans had focused on efficiency and innovation. Each of Earth's vessels carried more advanced technology than any alien dreadnought. The captain opened a secure channel to his fleet. "All ships, this is Reed. Training exercise Delta 7. Begin now." In space, the 12 human ships suddenly sprang into action. They moved with impossible speed and precision, performing maneuvers that would tear larger ships apart. Their formation changed like a flock of birds, guided by the most advanced AI systems ever created. On the bridge of her ship, Commander Emma Stone watched her crew work. The HMS Thunder hummed with power as its quantum core provided energy to systems that the aliens thought impossible. Their small size wasn't a weakness. It was their greatest strength. "Status report," Stone ordered, her voice calm despite the tension in the air. "All systems optimal, Commander," her AI officer reported. "Aetla's combat systems are running at 100%. Shield harmonics are stable. The new stealth systems are working perfectly." Back in the council chamber, Admiral Blackspine was making plans. He tapped his claws on the marble table, already imagining how easy it would be to intimidate these humans into submission. One look at his massive fleet would surely make them surrender. "I propose we send a diplomatic mission to Earth," he announced to the council. "To welcome them to the galactic community." His smile showed too many teeth to be friendly. The council members nodded in agreement, none of them suspecting that they were about to make a terrible mistake. They had fallen into the oldest trap in history, judging an opponent by their appearance. As the council meeting ended, a junior officer rushed in with new data about the human ships. The report contained detailed scans showing energy readings that seemed impossible for vessels that size. Admiral Blackspine dismissed the report without reading it. "Prepare my flagship," he ordered his staff. "It's time to show these humans what real power looks like." On Earth, Captain Reed received word of the coming diplomatic mission. He smiled slightly as he sent out new orders to his fleet. The aliens would learn soon enough that humanity's ships might be small, but they held secrets that would change the galaxy forever. The stage was set. Humanity's first real contact with alien civilization wouldn't be the peaceful exchange of knowledge they had hoped for. Instead, it would become a lesson about underestimating those who appear weak. The tiny human fleet was about to show the galaxy why size isn't everything. The massive Centaurian fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. 50 enormous warships, each one nearly the size of a small moon, appeared like dark clouds blocking out the stars. Their metal hulls, covered in weapon ports, gleamed menacingly in the distant sunlight. Lord Steelclaw stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Might. His golden armor reflected the light from nearby computer screens as he watched the tactical display. The human solar system lay before him like a feast waiting to be devoured. "Report," he commanded, his deep voice filling the bridge. "My lord, we detect 12 human vessels near their home planet," his sensor officer replied. "They appear to be in defensive positions. No other military ships detected." Steelclaw's mouth curved into what his species considered a smile. 12 ships. That's all they have to defend their entire world. He laughed, and his bridge crew joined in. This will be even easier than Admiral Blackspine promised. On Earth, Captain Reed watched the alien fleet's arrival through the massive windows of the Earth Defense Force Command Center. Unlike the aliens, he wasn't laughing. He knew what was coming. What had always been coming since humans first reached the stars. All ships, battle stations, he ordered through the command network. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. Across Earth's orbit, the 12 human ships moved into their prepared positions. They looked tiny compared to the approaching alien fleet, like sparrows facing down eagles. But appearances could be deceiving. Commander Stone sat in her command chair aboard the HMS Thunder, watching her crew prepare for battle. Unlike the huge alien ships with crews of thousands, her vessel operated with just 20 people and the Atlas AI system. Every crew member had trained for years for this moment. "Atlas, status report," she ordered. "All systems at maximum efficiency, Commander," the AI's calm voice replied. "Quantum shields are charged. New stealth systems are active. Weapon systems are primed but hidden. The aliens are scanning us but detecting only what we want them to see." In space, the Centaurian fleet moved closer, spreading out in an attack formation that had conquered 100 worlds. Their massive ships blocked out Earth's view of the stars, casting giant shadows across the planet below. Lord Steelclaw's voice boomed across all communication channels. "People of Earth, this is Lord Steelclaw of the Centaurian Empire. Your pathetic fleet cannot hope to stand against us. Surrender now, and we will be merciful. Resist, and we will destroy your tiny ships and then your world." In the Earth Defense Force Command Center, Captain Reed picked up his communicator. His voice was steady as he replied, "This is Captain Reed of the Earth Defense Force. We've received your message, Lord Steelclaw." He paused, looking at the tactical display showing both fleets. "Perhaps you'd like to reconsider your position while you still can." The alien lord's laughter filled the communication channels. Brave words from someone commanding toy ships. "Very well, humans. You've made your choice." Commander Stone watched the alien fleet's movement on her tactical display. The massive ships were arranging themselves in classic attack positions, just as Earth's intelligence had predicted they would. They still hadn't realized that every move they made was playing directly into humanity's hands. "All ships, execute Formation Delta," Captain Reed ordered calmly. "Remember your training. Remember what we are fighting for. They may be bigger, but size isn't everything." The 12 human ships moved in perfect synchronization, their formation shifting like a dance practiced 1,000 times. To the watching aliens, it looked like the desperate maneuvers of an outmatched force. They didn't realize they were watching the opening moves of a battle plan years in the making. The storm was about to break, and the galaxy was about to learn a lesson about judging things by their size. Humanity's time had come. The first shots of the battle lit up space like artificial stars. The Centaurian fleet fired a massive wave of energy weapons, turning the void between the fleets into a web of deadly light. Lord Steelclaw watched with satisfaction as thousands of energy beams crossed space toward the tiny human ships. "Watch closely," he told his bridge crew. "This is how we deal with primitive species who don't know their place." But something unexpected happened. The human ships didn't try to dodge. They didn't explode. Instead, the energy beams seemed to pass right through them, as if the ships weren't even there. "My lord," the sensor officer shouted in alarm. Those aren't real ships, they're holograms. Before Steelclaw could respond, 12 bright flashes appeared behind his fleet. The real human ships had somehow slipped behind them, completely undetected. Commander Stone's voice came through all communication channels, clear and confident. "This is Commander Stone of the HMS Thunder. Allow us to demonstrate why you shouldn't judge a fleet by its size." The human ships moved with impossible speed, their engines leaving trails of blue fire against the black of space. They weaved between the massive Centaurian vessels like wolves among sheep, too fast and agile for the bigger ship's weapons to track. "Impossible," Lord Steelclaw roared. "Nothing can move that fast. Their ships would tear themselves apart." On the bridge of the HMS Thunder, Commander Stone watched her tactical display as Atlas coordinated their attack. "Show them what we can really do," she ordered. "All ships, weapons free." The human vessels suddenly transformed. Panels slid open along their hulls, revealing weapon systems unlike anything the aliens had seen before. Quantum-guided missiles launched in perfect synchronization, each one splitting into dozens of smaller warheads. The Atlas AI systems calculated paths that let the weapons slip through gaps in the alien shields that even the Centaurians didn't know existed. Captain Reed watched from Earth as his fleet executed the battle plan flawlessly. "All ships, Phase 2, he commanded. "Let's show them why humanity took a different path in ship design." The human vessels began to glow with strange energy. Their quantum shields, invisible until now, became visible as shells of shifting light. When the Centaurian ships fired again, their energy weapons were absorbed and redirected, making the human shields stronger. "What kind of technology is this?" Lord Steelclaw demanded, watching as his mighty fleet's weapons proved useless. "How can such small ships have such power?" In the HMS Thunder's engine room, Chief Engineer Tom Wilson monitored the quantum core as it channeled more power than should have been possible in a ship this size. The technology that made it work had been humanity's closest guarded secret. Until now. The battle turned into a dance of David versus Goliath. The human ships darted between their massive opponents, striking with precision at weak points that their AI systems had identified. Alien armor, designed to withstand direct hits from capital ships, proved vulnerable to the humans' unexpected attack patterns. Status report. Lord Steelclaw bellowed as his flagship shuddered from another hit. "My lord, we've lost 12 ships already," his tactical officer reported, fear in his voice. "Their weapons, they're bypassing our shields somehow. And we can't hit them. They're too fast, too small." Commander Stone allowed herself a small smile as she watched the Centaurian fleet falling into chaos. "All ships, execute Pattern Omega," she ordered. "Let's show them what else these tiny ships can do." The 12 human vessels moved into a new formation, their quantum shields linking together to create an energy web that trapped several alien ships. The trapped vessels found their own weapons being reflected back at them, their massive size now working against them. In the Earth Defense Force Command Center, Captain Reed sent a message to the Centaurian fleet. "Lord Steelclaw, would you like to reconsider your position now? Or should we continue this demonstration of why humanity chose quality over quantity?" The galaxy was about to learn that sometimes the smallest opponent could be the most dangerous, especially when that opponent was human. Lord Steelclaw watched in horror as another of his massive warships exploded. The human vessels moved like lightning through his fleet, striking with weapons that shouldn't exist. His mighty armada, pride of the Centaurian Empire, was being torn apart by ships he had called toys just hours ago. "Emergency transmission to all ships," he shouted. "Form defensive sphere pattern. Concentrate all fire on a single human vessel." The remaining Centaurian ships moved into a spherical formation, their massive hulls creating a wall of metal in space. Thousands of weapon ports turned toward a single target, the HMS Thunder. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes filled space, all aimed at one tiny human ship. Commander Stone sat calmly in her command chair as warnings flashed across every screen. Atlas, activate the Mirror Shield Protocol. Mirror Shield Protocol engaged. Commander, the AI responded smoothly. Quantum field harmonics at maximum. What happened next made the alien crew members drop their weapons in shock. The HMS Thunder's quantum shields didn't just block the incoming fire. They caught it, held it, and then sent it back. The massive energy attack meant to destroy one small ship instead rebounded into the Centaurian fleet's own formation. How? Lord Steelclaw whispered as he watched 3 more of his ships dissolve under their own reflected weapons fire. How can they do this? On Earth, Captain Reed activated a special communication channel. All ships, execute Operation Swarm. The 12 human vessels suddenly split apart. Each ship separated into 3 smaller units, turning 12 ships into 36. The smaller units were faster, more agile, and just as deadly as their parent ships. Impossible. The alien sensor officer screamed. Their ships, their fractal ships, each one contained smaller ships inside. Commander Stone's voice came through the command channel. All units, attack pattern Delta. Show them why humanity chose modularity over size. The swarm of human vessels darted through space like angry wasps, their quantum weapons piercing alien shields as if they weren't there. Each small unit could target a different weak point, overwhelming the massive ship's defenses through sheer precision rather than power. In the HMS Thunder's engine room, Chief Engineer Wilson monitored the separation systems. All daughter ships functioning at 100%, Commander, he reported. Quantum cores stable in all units. The battle had turned into a complete rout. The mighty Centaurian dreadnoughts, built to fight other massive ships, couldn't handle the speed and agility of their smaller opponents. Their weapons were designed to destroy capital ships, not track targets smaller than their own weapon ports. My lord, Steelclaw's tactical officer said, his voice shaking, we've lost contact with our entire rear fleet. The human ships, they're not just destroying us, they're disabling our systems somehow. Indeed, the Atlas AI systems were doing more than just coordinating attacks. They had hacked into the alien ship's computer networks, shutting down weapons, disabling shields, and even venting atmosphere in some sections. Captain Reed watched the tactical display with satisfaction. The battle was going exactly as planned. Years of preparing, of letting the galaxy think humanity was weak, were paying off. He opened a channel to the Centaurian flagship. Lord Steelclaw, he said calmly, you have 2 options now. Surrender or watch the rest of your fleet learn why humanity focused on quality over quantity. On the Eternal Might's bridge, Lord Steelclaw gripped his command chair as another explosion rocked his ship. His mighty flagship, 10 times the size of Earth's largest vessel, was being taken apart piece by enemies he couldn't even hit. The battle that was supposed to be a simple show of force had turned into a demonstration of humanity's true power. The galaxy would never again mistake small size for weakness, not after seeing what human ships could really do. The remains of the once mighty Centaurian fleet drifted in space, more than half their ships either destroyed or disabled. Lord Steelclaw stood on his flagship's bridge, watching in disbelief as the swarm of human vessels continued their relentless attack. But he had one last card to play. Activate the planet killer weapon, he roared. If we can't defeat their fleet, we'll force their surrender by threatening their world. The Eternal Might's hull split open, revealing a massive cannon that began gathering energy. The weapon was powerful enough to crack a planet's crust, a last resort that had won many battles before. On the HMS Thunder's bridge, Commander Stone received the warning from Atlas. Planet killer weapon detected, Commander. Energy readings are off the scale. Stone's expression remained calm as she opened a channel to all human ships. All units, initiate Protocol Omega. Show them our final surprise. The 36 human ships suddenly moved into a new formation. Energy began to flow between them. their quantum shields linking together in ways the aliens had never seen before. The small ships were combining their power into something greater than the sum of its parts. Energy fusion network complete, Atlas announced. All ships linked. Quantum synchronization at maximum. Captain Reed watched from Earth as the human fleet executed humanity's greatest technological achievement. "Begin the transformation," he ordered. What happened next made even Lord Steelclaw's four jaws drop open in shock. The human ships didn't just link their shields. They began to physically connect. Metal flowed like water as the smaller vessels merged together, their modular designs allowing them to combine into something new. "By the ancient stars," Steelclaw's science officer whispered, they're forming a gestalt entity." Where 36 small ships had been, now floated a single massive vessel. But unlike the bulky Centaurian ships, this combined form was sleek, efficient, and hummed with more power than anything the aliens had ever detected. Commander Stone's voice came through all channels, now backed by the combined power of every ship's quantum core. "You wanted to see real power, Lord Steelclaw. Allow us to demonstrate." The combined human ship moved with impossible grace for its size. Its quantum shields now formed a bubble of pure energy that could have withstood the impact of a small moon. The Atlas systems, linked together, operated at speeds that made organic thinking look frozen in time. "Fire the planet killer." Steelclaw screamed in desperation. The massive energy beam launched from his flagship, powerful enough to destroy a world. But when it hit the human ship's quantum shield, something unexpected happened. The shield didn't just block the beam, it absorbed it, channeled it, and redirected it. Chief Engineer Wilson's voice came over the command channel. "Combined quantum core stable, Commander. We're at 200% normal power after absorbing their attack. All systems ready. Target their flagship," Stone ordered. "Show them what real advanced technology looks like." The combined human vessel's weapons opened fire, but instead of energy beams or missiles, it fired streams of concentrated quantum particles that simply ignored the concept of shields altogether. The particles passed through the Eternal Might's defenses as if they weren't there, precisely targeting key systems. Lord Steelclaw watched in horror as his mighty flagship systems shut down one by one. Weapons, engines, life support, everything went dark except basic power and communications. Captain Reed's voice filled every channel. "This is what happens when you mistake small size for weakness. Your ships are disabled. Your weapons are useless. The battle is over." The remaining Centaurian ships hung motionless in space, their crews watching in awe as the combined human vessel hovered before them, a testament to what humanity had achieved, while everyone else had focused on building bigger ships. News of the battle spread through the galaxy faster than light itself. In the Great Hall of the Galactic Council, the massive viewing screen showed recordings of the fight. Council members watched in stunned silence as the footage showed their greatest military power being defeated by ships they had laughed at just days ago. Admiral Blackspine stood before the council, his scales pale with shame. The recordings kept playing behind him. Human ships moving with impossible speed, splitting into smaller units, combining into a mighty whole, and wielding technology that shouldn't exist. "How?" the council president asked, his energy form flickering with emotion. "How did we miss this? How did they advance so far without us noticing?" The admiral had no answer. He remembered his own laughter when he first saw the human fleet. That laughter now felt like ashes in his mouth. Meanwhile, in Earth orbit, the combined human vessel separated back into its individual ships. Commander Stone watched from the HMS Thunder's bridge as her crew celebrated their victory. The secret was out now. Humanity's true technological power was revealed to the galaxy. "Message from Earth Command," Atlas announced. "Captain Reed requests your presence for an important meeting, Commander." In the Earth Defense Force headquarters, Captain Reed stood in the main conference room with his senior staff. The room's windows showed the damaged Centaurian ships being towed into holding positions by the human fleet's smaller units. The Galactic Council has called an emergency session, Reed announced to his officers. They want us to attend, not as petitioners this time, but as equals. Lord Steelclaw, now a prisoner, sat in a holding cell watching a replay of the battle on a small screen. He couldn't stop staring at the moment when the human ships combined. His own mighty planet killer weapon had been turned aside, as if it were nothing more than a light show. "I don't understand," he said to the human guard outside his cell. "Why did you let us think you were weak? Why build small ships when you could have shown your power from the start?" The guard smiled. "Sometimes the best way to advance is to let others underestimate you. While the galaxy built bigger ships, we built smarter ones. While you focused on brute force, we developed technologies you never even thought to try." In the Galactic Council chamber, emergency meetings continued through the day. Representatives from 100 worlds watched the battle footage, studying every move the human ships made. Already, some were calling for alliances with Earth. Others wanted to buy human technology. Admiral Blackspine faced the Council's judgment. "I move that we officially recognize Earth as a major power," he said, his voice heavy with humility. "Their technology, their tactics, their understanding of space warfare, they're centuries ahead of us, and we were too blind to see it." Back on Earth, Commander Stone and Captain Reed stood together in his office, watching the sun set over the planet they had defended. "They're already asking for our help," Reed said, holding up a data pad full of messages from alien worlds. "Everyone wants to know how we did it, how we built such advanced ships in such small packages." Stone nodded. "And now they're all saying they knew we were special all along. Funny how quickly mockery turns to respect when you prove yourself." The quantum communication system chimed with another message from the Galactic Council. This one was different. A formal apology for underestimating humanity, and an invitation to join the Council's inner circle of leadership. "They want us to teach them," Reed said, reading the message. "To show them how to build ships like ours, how to develop the technologies we created." "Should we?" Stone asked, though she already knew the answer. Reed smiled. "Of course. That's what humans do. We share knowledge, we help others advance. But first, let's make sure they understand one important lesson." "What's that, sir?" "That the size of a fleet doesn't matter nearly as much as the intelligence and innovation behind it." The sun set on a new era for humanity and the galaxy. The species that had been mocked for their tiny fleet would now lead the way into a future where bigger didn't mean better, and where innovation trumped intimidation. 6 months after the battle that changed everything, the great shipyards of the galaxy looked very different. Where once massive dreadnoughts took shape, now smaller, sleeker vessels were under construction. Human engineers walked among alien workers, teaching them the principles of quantum core technology and modular ship design. In the Galactic Council's main chamber, Captain Reed stood at the speaker's podium, addressing representatives from 200 worlds. The chamber, once dominated by the largest and most powerful species, now held delegates of all sizes. Reed's voice carried clearly through the vast space. "The age of building bigger ships just to show power is over," he said, gesturing to the holographic display showing the new designs. "Today, we begin an era of smart design, of ships that can adapt and evolve during battle." Commander Stone watched from her seat in the human delegation. Next to her sat Lord Steelclaw, no longer a prisoner but now Earth's strongest ally in spreading the new technologies. His own experience had transformed him from a critic into humanity's most vocal supporter. "I still remember how I laughed at your ships," Steelclaw said quietly to Stone. "Now my people are building vessels based on your designs, and our fleet is stronger than ever, even though our ships are a tenth of their former size." The HMS Thunder, fully repaired and upgraded, floated in orbit above the Council world. Its quantum core hummed with power as it demonstrated the new technologies for visiting military officials. The ship's small size, once mocked, was now studied and copied by every major fleet in the galaxy. In the Earth Defense Force headquarters, Chief Engineer Wilson led a class of alien engineers through the principles of quantum shield harmonics. The students, once proud of their own technologies, now took notes eagerly as he explained how humans had developed such advanced systems. The key was thinking differently, Wilson explained, drawing diagrams on a holographic board. Instead of making bigger power cores, we found ways to make them more efficient. Instead of thicker armor, we developed better shields. Size became our advantage, not our weakness. Admiral Blackspine, now serving as the Council's head of technological development, stood in a new shipyard watching the construction of the first joint human-alien vessel. The ship combined the best of both worlds, human innovation and alien manufacturing capabilities. "We were so wrong about them," he told his aide, watching human and alien workers collaborate on the new ship. "They weren't primitive or weak. They were just smarter than us. They saw possibilities we never imagined." Back in the council chamber, Captain Reed concluded his presentation. "Today, we signed the Galactic Technology Sharing Treaty. Earth will share its advancements with all peaceful worlds, and in return, we ask only for cooperation and understanding. Together, we can build a safer galaxy." The chamber erupted in applause. Even the energy beings, usually reserved in their reactions, pulsed with bright approval. The treaty was signed, marking the beginning of a new age in galactic history. Later that evening, Commander Stone and Captain Reed stood on the observation deck of the Council station, watching ships of all sizes move through space. Among them, human vessels darted like silver fish, still small but now respected throughout the galaxy. "Did you ever think it would end like this?" Stone asked, watching a group of alien engineers examining the thunder through the window. Reed smiled. "Not exactly like this, but I always knew that someday they'd understand. Size isn't everything. It's how you use what you have that matters. And now they all want to be like us," Stone said, noting the numerous small ships of various alien designs that were clearly inspired by human technology. "That's the real victory," Reed replied. "Not beating them in battle, but showing them a better way forward. Sometimes the smallest ships can make the biggest changes." As they watched, a new class of ship took its first flight from the shipyards. A joint human-alien design that combined the best of both civilizations. It was smaller than the old dreadnoughts but more powerful than anything that had come before. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Never again would anyone make the mistake of judging a civilization by the size of its ships. The era of the clever, the innovative, and the efficient had begun, and humanity was leading the way.